left the iPad plugged into the battery.
Good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to Friedenberg Court Mississinewa High School for tonight's JV and varsity contest between the visiting Newcastle Trojans and your home team on the scoreboard, the Mississinewa Indians. Hello again, and welcome to Gas City for tonight's contest. I'm Ryan Scott, and alongside with me is special guest Riley Fuquay. We'll have the call of the game for you tonight. 20 seconds until the opening tip here at Friedenberg Court. We're going to turn it down to public address announcer Kurt McCollum.
Please give these athletes your encouragement and support. Efforts to apply the talents of all participants is greatly appreciated. Ruling, taunting, or intimidating the officials, coaches, or athletes is unacceptable and unsportsmanlike. This time I introduce the starting lineups first. The visitors will be Newcastle Trojans. Serving at one guard, 5'8" freshman 10, Derek Taylor. Other guard, third guard position, 5'10" freshman, 22, Dylan Berger. Going forward, 6-foot freshman, 20, Trey Miller. And the other forward, 6-foot sophomore, number 50, Devin Fielding. Trojans are coached by Corey Criswell. This week, the starting lineup for your Mississinewa Indians. Starting at one guard, 5'8" freshman. Officials for tonight's game, Tom Fox and Tanner Hoots.
Again, good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to Friedenberg Court. The tip is up and controlled by Newcastle. Newcastle will move from left to right. And Newcastle drives inside for the first 2 points of tonight's contest. Carson Campbell marches to their side, crosses the timeline. He will work it around to Bryce Lukey. Ulrich Williams in the wing. Gets top of the key to Bryce Lukey. Bryce Lukey will go to Carson Campbell. Inside pass to Lucas Asbury. Asbury in the block. Kicks it back out to Carson Campbell. And it's an early Indian turnover. And Newcastle will have possession. Newcastle for three, no good. Offensive rebound, and it is stolen away by the Indians. Carson Campbell goes to Keegan Williams. Asbury for a deep three, and he connects.
Lucas Asbury for three.
Again, an early shout out to the TribeTV members that are here tonight. Isaac Scott on the camera. If he jerks the camera, you can email him and tell him all about it. Well, Mr. Brooks Holloway, and alongside with me is Riley Fuquay, and joining us for the varsity contest, Mr. Seth Kashanik. A great job by Seth on today's graphics. And a missed shot inside by the Indians is no good, and it'll go to Newcastle. These three from downtown is good, and the famous Jim Brunner is in the house. Campbell goes to Hayden Ulrich. Hayden Ulrich drives inside, and there's a foul. Fouls on Trojan number 10, Derek Tabor, his first, team's first. Hayden Ulrich will take it out of bounds from the bucket. Asbury at the free throw line. Carson Campbell works it around. Inside Asbury again at the free throw line. Campbell, Williams kicks it back out. Asbury at the top of the key. Ulrich inside to Keegan Williams, kicks it out to Asbury for three, and it is no good. It'll be an offensive rebound, Hayden Ulrich. Ulrich will go to Carson Campbell. 4 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. Inside pass to Carson Campbell. Campbell goes up and good. Newcastle will have possession. Works it around the paint. And a pop and stop, and it's an air ball and no good. Keegan Williams is down floor. He puts it up, no good. And the ball will go back to Newcastle. Newcastle pulls the three from the wing and connects. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to play here in Gas City. Indians 5, Trojans 10. Inside pass to Hayden Ulrich. Tips out of bounds and will go to Newcastle. Newcastle baseline shot up, no shot, and there will be a foul. Fouls on Indian number 40, Keegan Williams, his first, team's first. Newcastle will take it out of bounds from the bucket. Newcastle inside, forces it cross court. And finds a wide open lane, puts it up and good. Newcastle extends their lead to 5-12. Campbell, Lukey, Asbury. Asbury to Keegan Williams. Williams goes back to Lukey. Carson Campbell. Campbell looks, goes back to Bryce Lukey. Lukey, Asbury for three, and good. Good Ansel heads to the scores table for Mississinewa. 1 minute and 49 seconds to play in the first quarter. Three underway by Newcastle is no good. Mississinewa will have possession. 1 minute and 25 seconds to play. Shot up by Hayden Ulrich is no good. Ball tipped out of bounds by Newcastle and will go to Mississinewa. Number 30, Dakota Ansel checks in for Mississinewa, and he will replace Keegan Williams. Campbell will take it out of bounds from the sideline. He will go to Hayden Ulrich. Hayden Ulrich crosses the timeline. Lukey, Campbell. Asbury. Lukey, Ulrich. Free throw line to Ansel. Ansel gives it to Carson Campbell. Asbury for another three, no good. And there will be a foul. Fouls on Hayden Ulrich, his first, team's second. Newcastle have possession for the 45 seconds left to play in the first quarter. A three underway by Newcastle is good. 33 seconds to play in the first quarter. Ansel to Asbury. Asbury to Ulrich. Inside to Asbury. Asbury shot up, no good. Newcastle inside, forces it back outside. And from the NBA line is no good. Bounce pass, Hayden Ulrich. Ulrich puts it up, good. It's a 5-point ball game. At the end of the first quarter on the State Farm Dennis Road scoreboard, Indians 5, Trojans 15. We'll be back after the 60-second timeout. Welcome back to Gas City as we start the second quarter. Indians trail by 5, and the Indians will have possession. Inside pass to Carson Campbell. Lukey in the corner. Goes to Lucas Asbury. Asbury pop and stop, and, well, it is no good. Shout out to the amazing photographer for today's JV game, Mr. Brooks Holloway, before he joins me for the varsity game. Newcastle will have possession. Ulrich goes to Carson Campbell. Swings it to Bryce Lukey. Lukey will go back to Carson Campbell. Bryce Lukey for 3 and no good. It could have been an offensive rebound, and that was no good. Trojans will have possession, 5 minutes and 53 seconds to play in the second quarter before halftime. Colton Edwards will head to the scores table for Mississinewa. Hayden Ulrich will pull the 3. It's no good. Be an offensive rebound. Bryce Lukey puts it up. No good, but there is a foul. Fouls on Trojan number 20, Trey Miller, his first, team second. Bryce Lukey will be at the line for 2 shots. First one is good. The second one is released, up and good. Newcastle will have possession. Again, 5 minutes and 30 seconds to play before halftime. A deep 3 by Newcastle is no good. Hits the top of the backboard, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Stick around at this halftime break. I will talk a little bit about the boys sectional that is coming up this Tuesday. I'm just going to talk briefly about it. You'll hear more in the varsity halftime or varsity pregame show presented by Max's Barbershop. Jay Johnson will check in for Mississinewa. Newcastle will continue to work it. And he takes one too many steps down I-69, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Ansel at the top of the key, swings it over. Jay Johnson goes to Hayden Ulrich. Ansel inside, nice pass inside to Hayden Ulrich. Has to kick it out to Jay Johnson. Johnson for three, no good. It'll be an offensive rebound. Colton Edwards, and he'll put it up and good. (14-17), 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play. Shot up by Newcastle. It's no good. Tipped out of bounds, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Johnson crosses the timeline. Edwards, Asbury, Ansel, inside pass. Ulrich to Williams. Williams puts it up and good, and nice assist by Hayden Ulrich. I do not know what kind of pass that was, but they had an Indian foul. Fouls on Indian number 40, Keegan Williams, his second, team's third. Devin Filden will be at the line for 2 shots. The first one is good. Cree Young checks in for Mississinewa. Young in the corner, drives baseline, shot up, no, and there will be a foul. Newcastle had possession. 2 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the second quarter. Indians trail 16-19. Shot up, no shot, and there will be a foul. Fouls on Indian number 31, Cree Young, his first, team's fifth. Newcastle in the corner for three, and no good. Indians will recover. Colton Edwards goes to Jay Johnson. Johnson puts it up by himself. Shot up, no good. And it'll be off Mississinewa and go to the Trojans. Hayden Ulrich and Lucas Asbury heads to the scores table, and as I say that, Newcastle knocks down another three and extends their lead to 22-16. Gamble goes to Jay Johnson, swings it over to Dakota Ansel. Gamble, Young to Jay Johnson. Young for three and no good. Offensive rebound to Dakota Ansel. Young tries to bounce pass to Dakota Ansel. That'll be a turnover. Indians regain. Colton Edwards for three and no good. Shot up, no good. Colton Edwards will pull down the board. He'll go to Jay Johnson, over to Cree Young. Young to Jay Johnson, 53 seconds to play before halftime. Campbell, Ansel. And Colton Edwards travels, and it'll go to the Trojans. Bryce Lukey, Lucas Asbury, and Hayden Ulrich checks in. All check in for Mississinewa. 40 seconds to play before halftime. And we apologize for some of the glitches on the scoreboard as we are trying to figure out and fix the technology issues with the scoreboard. A few TribeTV reminders for tonight's game. We will have instant replay. Tweet your seat at TribeTV seat. That will be for the Max's Barbershop pregame show and throughout the varsity contest, and tweetcast on social media. At the halftime break on the State Farm Made at Genesee Road scoreboard, Indians 16, Trojans 22. We'll be back after this halftime break. This is Mississinewa Indians basketball on the Tribe Sports Network. Welcome back to Gas City. Perfect timing by my partner, Mr. Riley Fuqua. Great timing. Mississinewa will have possession this second half. Don't forget, stick around after this game as the Max's Barbershop pregame show will tip off for the varsity contest. And MCSC Media Director, Mr. Brooks Holloway, will join me for the varsity contest. Newcastle will have possession. Newcastle works it around well once again. Inside pass, Newcastle. Up, good. Asbury inside. Carson Campbell to Bryce Lukey. Asbury for three, and it rolls in and out. And the ball will go off Mississinewa and go to Newcastle. Hayden Ulrich will go sideline. Ulrich loses control, go to Carson Campbell. Asbury at the free throw line. Carson Campbell, Hayden Ulrich, Bryce Lukey. Asbury to Hayden Ulrich. Campbell inside Asbury. Asbury puts it up, down, good. Bryce Lukey will be the defender crossing the timeline. Newcastle works it around the arc once again. Three underway, and the corner is no good. Lucas Asbury will bring down the board. Williams three, no good. And it'll be a Newcastle turnover. Hayden Ulrich puts it up and good. It's a 2-point ball game. Three underway for Newcastle is no good, and it'll be the rebound, Keegan Williams. And there will be a foul.
Fouls on Trojan number 20, Trey Miller. This second to first. Dawson Scott, or correction, Jackson Platt enters the lineup for Newcastle.
Campbell puts it up and good. 3 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the third quarter. Again, I will step aside at the start of the first quarter, or the fourth quarter, to get stuff ready for the Max's Barbershop pregame show. Again, we will step aside for the final quarter in the fourth quarter as we get things ready for the Max's Barbershop pregame show. Again, big thank you to the TribeTV members that are here tonight. Isaac Scott, Riley Fuqua, myself, Brooks Holloway, and soon will be joining us Seth Kashanik. Hayden Ark. Bryce Lukey. Lukey will swing it over to Carson Campbell. Williams inside pass to Asbury. Asbury works it around, shot up, no good, but there's a foul.
Fouls on Trojan number 20, Trey Miller is third. Being second, Lucas Asbury with one shooting two. Michael Holmes returns to Newcastle.
Welcome back to Gas City. Third quarter is still underway. Two minutes and 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. Indians 26, Trojans 26.
Fouls on Indian number 24, Lucas Asbury is first. Being first. Jackson Platte with one shooting two.
Newcastle at the line for two shots. The first one is good.
Go to Ames on this line for the Indians.
Ulrich will go to Keegan Williams. Go back to Ulrich. Bounce pass, Carson Campbell. Campbell, two-point jump at the volleyball line, and it's good. 1 minute and 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. It's a two-point ball game, and there is a push-off.
Control foul is Trojan at 22, Gilbert Verdon. His first and third.
Ulrich will travel, and it'll go to Newcastle. .60 seconds to play in the third quarter. Newcastle baseline shot up, rolls in and out. Shot up again, no good. And there's a foul. First free throw by Newcastle is no good. Cree Young checks in for Mississinewa. Hayden Ulrich will cross the timeline. 33 seconds to play in the third quarter. Young goes to Campbell. Williams for three, and it's no good. Two-point jumper by Newcastle is no good. And at the end of the third quarter, Indians 28, Trojans 32.
Welcome back to Mississinewa High School for the fourth quarter of play. Newcastle will take possession. Timeout by Newcastle.
Second timeout, Newcastle.
Back in the action, Newcastle will take possession of the ball with 6:40 left in the game. Foul called. Fouls on Indian number 12, Jay Johnson. Newcastle with the floater for two. Hayden Ulrich brings it up with 6:05 left on the fourth quarter. Cree Young shoots for three. It's good.
Young for three.
Foul called on the play. No shot. Fouls on Dakota Ansel, number 30. Bryce Lukey enters the lineup for Cree Young. Newcastle keeps possession of the ball with 5:10 left. Another foul called on the Indians. Foul on Jay Johnson. Newcastle brings it into play again. Rebound. Foul called. Nope. Kick the ball. Cree Young returns to the lineup for Mississinewa. Number 10, Hayden Ulrich brings the ball up to Bryce Lukey. Back to Hayden Ulrich. He drives, takes a layup. It's good. Brings the score to 33-34 with 4:30 left. Newcastle drives in, makes the layup. Hayden Ulrich brings the ball up. Gives it to Keegan Williams at the top. Back to Hayden. Hayden goes to Bryce. Bryce drives in. Goes up with it. Offensive rebound by Dakota Ansel. Goes up, and it's good. Newcastle for three. No good. Hayden Ulrich with the rebound. Foul called on the play. Foul's on Newcastle number 10. Indians will bring it out under the basket. Into Bryce Lukey. He goes in for the layup. It's good. Mississinewa takes the lead with 3:45 left. Newcastle brings it up. Dribbles around. Newcastle takes the corner three. It's good. Full timeout by Newcastle. We will be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Friedenberg Court with 3:14 left in the JV contest. Indians bring the ball up. Number 10, Hayden Ulrich. Gives it to Jay Johnson. Gives it to Carson Campbell. Over to Bryce Lukey. Back to Jay Johnson. To Keegan Williams. Hands it off to Carson Campbell. Takes the floater. It's good. Tie ball game with 2:47 left in the fourth quarter. Newcastle brings up the ball. Newcastle goes up with a two-point jumper. Miss. Hayden Ulrich with the rebound, brings it up. Gives it to Carson, over to Jay Johnson. Back to Carson Campbell. Into Keegan Williams, he goes up and it's good.
As the Keegan Williams assists, Carson Campbell.
Newcastle comes across half court. Down by 2 with 2 minutes. Newcastle drives in for the layup. It's good. Number 10, Hayden Ulrich, brings the ball up. Gives it to Carson Campbell. Back to Hayden Ulrich. Over to Bryce Lukey. Over to Jay Johnson. Back to Bryce. Indian turnover. Newcastle brings it up. Need a good defensive stop right here. Newcastle passes around looking for a bucket. Number 20 drives in, draws the foul. Fouls on Indian number 12, Jay Johnson. Team 6th. Number 20 for Newcastle goes to the line for 2 shots. First one's good. Gives Newcastle a 1-point lead with 58.7 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Coach Connor Cunningham takes a timeout for the Indians. Full timeout. We will be back in 60 seconds. We're back at Mississinewa High School with 58 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Newcastle will take one more at the free throw line. Misses it. Offensive rebound. Newcastle gets it back. Passes it around. Foul on the Indians by number 10, Hayden Ulrich. Newcastle will go to the line for 1-and-1 bonus. First one's up and it's good. Gives Newcastle the lead, 43-41 with 44 seconds left. Second one up, it's good. Carson Campbell will bring the ball up for the Indians. Gives it to Hayden Ulrich. Back to Carson Campbell. He drives, gives it back out to Bryce. Gives it to Lucas Asbury. Back to Bryce. He drives, hands it out to Carson, who drives and draws the foul. Fouls on Newcastle, number 32. Indians will bring it out under the basket. Got to get a big bucket here with 22 seconds left. Lucas Asbury gets it in the corner, brings it in, goes up, no good, out of bounds. Mississinewa ball. 17 seconds left. Indians will bring it out under the basket once again. Gives it to Bryce in the corner, back out to Hayden. Gives it to Keegan, shoots the 3, no good. Offensive rebound, no good again. Bryce Lukey gets the rebound. Back out to Keegan. He throws it up. Newcastle gets the ball, and there's a foul called on the play with 0.7 seconds left. Newcastle will go to the line for the 1 in bonus. First one's no good. Rebound by Hayden Ulrich, no good. That's the ball game for your JV contest. Newcastle 44, Indians 41. Ryan Scott will be coming up with the Max's Barbershop pregame show for the varsity contest.
capture like it only allows you to do one round, so you can't do capture. If you're a manual, you gotta find that the map. Yeah, actually.
Again, good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to Mississinewa High School on Freedberg Court for tonight's varsity contest between the Newcastle Trojans and the home team on the scoreboard, the Mississinewa Indians. Hello, and again, welcome to Gas City for tonight's contest. I'm Ryan Scott. Alongside with me is MCSC Media Director, Mr. Brooks Holloway. We'll have the call of the game for you, and then we will start the Max's Barbershop pregame show with team leaders.
Yeah, for Newcastle, it's obvious who Mississinewa will have to key on tonight. You start comparing different schedules across schools, and you have a big glaring difference here. Newcastle versus Luke Brown from Blackford. Luke Bumbleau of Newcastle, number 3 on the floor tonight, bringing in about 31.5 points per game for the Trojans. He is definitely going to be one to watch, especially with the tougher all-around schedule, and it's been compared across media lately as we look at the sectionals across Delaware, Blackford, and Grant counties that Newcastle could be a contender to get to that final in the sectional there, even with Luke Brown in the same category. And I believe Luke Brown and Luke Bumbleau here may meet in the second round, but Newcastle, I believe, is going to have to get past Delta in that first round of that sectional. Mississinewa brings a pretty balanced attack to this competition. Ty McClung, 15.3 points per game, is the Indians' leading scorer, so they look to go inside out a bunch, and Landon Swanner, if that inside-out game is on, he can catch pretty quick and drop 20 on the opponents. Ryan?
Yeah, and for Mississinewa is led by number 21, Tay McClung, with 15 points. And again, that is one guy you want to stop from getting down low into the block. And again, and down low, is a kid that can score. And if you don't score or don't stop him, he is going to get right past you. And we look at rebounds per game is led by number 21, Tay McClung, again with 6. Rebounds per game is led by number 3 for Newcastle, Luke Bumbleau, with 5. Assists per game for Mississinewa is 24, led by Anthony Horton with 4. Again, a name that in number you will hear a lot tonight. Number 3, Luke Bumbleau, assists per game is 3. Steals per game for Newcastle, number 10, Mason Hardwick with 1. And steals per game for Mississinewa is led by number 24, Anthony Horton, with 2. And blocks per game for Mississinewa is led by number 21, Landon Swanner. And for Newcastle, number 33, Braden Matney with .3. We're going to step aside for 60 seconds and come back with more of the Max's Barbershop pregame show. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. Welcome back to Gas City as we continue with the Max's Barbershop pregame show, and we are going to start off with some team stats, but first for Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle comes in 11-9, 4-3 in their conference, and I got to correct myself real quick. I mixed up the green teams in that sectional 24, 3A sectional. Yorktown and Delta will face Blackford in the second round. Newcastle gets the bye with Hamilton Heights and Muncie Burris. But Newcastle, anyways, comes in 11-9, 4-3 in the conference, and on the road, they have a losing record coming here to Mississinewa. They're 4-7. Still outscoring their opponents, and they play a much tougher schedule than teams around their area. So it should be a good competition here.
Yeah, for sure, and you will hear us talk a little bit more later in the pregame show. We talk a little bit about schedules. They have played 12 4A teams, so that tells you a little bit how strong their schedule is. We're going to take a look at Mississinewa team stats here. Overall, Mississinewa and Coach Reed comes in 12-8, 5-2 in the Central Indiana Conference. They finished again their conference 5-2, 6-3 at home, 5-5 away, and a .600 win percentage. We're going to take another 30-second break and come back with team scheduling for both teams. This is Mississinewa Indians basketball pregame show on the Tribe Sports Network. Welcome back to the Max's Barbershop pregame show. We take a look at team scheduling for both teams. Take a look at Newcastle. Daniel Cox is coming in 90 and 57, or 52, sorry, and 6th year overall at the school. Again, sectional 24, class 3A. They have played 12 4A teams. Their last 3 matchups were February 12th as they hosted Pendleton Heights with a 4A, and that is a conference game. They won 63-40. February 15th, they hosted Rushville 3A and won 88-52. February 16th was their recent game at Westfield 4A and lost 53-61. We take a look at Mississinewa. Mississinewa is directed by first-year head coach James Reed. 12-8, class 3A. In sectional 23, their last 3 games were February 8th as they hosted Frankton 2A conference game, and they lost 64-69 in overtime. February 15th at Eastbrook 2A, again a Central Indiana Conference matchup, and they won 58-47. February 16th, they hosted Bluffton 2A and won 50-35. That was their latest win for both teams, and we are going to step aside for one final break and come back with some sectional drawings for both teams. This is Mississinewa Indians basketball pregame show on the Tribe Sports Network. Welcome back to Gas City as we continue with the Max's Barbershop pregame show, and now we look at Newcastle sectional against sectional 24 Class 3A, and it is the Newcastle sectional. Game 1, Muncie Burris and Hamilton Heights. Game 2, Delta and Yorktown. Game 3, Newcastle and the winner of Muncie Burris and Hamilton Heights. And in Game 4, Blackford with the winning team of Delta or Yorktown. Sectional 23 Class 3A, this is the Belmont sectional. Game 1, Mississinewa and Norwell. Game 2, Fort Wayne Bishop Lures and Heritage. Game 3, Marion versus the winner of Game 1, Mississinewa and Norwell. And Game 4, Belmont with the winner of the Game 2 matchup, Fort Wayne Bishop Lures or Heritage. You have just heard the sectional lineup for the 2019 IHSA tournament. Again, TribeTV will have the live coverage of the Belmont sectional again. Game 1, Mississinewa and Norwell. Mississinewa will play again. Game 1 at 6 p.m. next Tuesday, this coming up Tuesday. 4 minutes until the opening tip here at Friedenberg Court. We're going to take a 4-minute break and come back with the national anthem and starting lineups for public address announcer Kurt McCall.
Basketball fan. This is Civil Principal Steve Walker, Assistant Principal David Grant, Chad Cruz, Athletic Director Shane Scott. I'd like to welcome you to Friedenberg Court, Mississinewa High School for tonight's varsity basketball game between the visiting Newcastle Trojans and your Mississinewa scholarship is a top priority to CIC at Mississinewa High School. Your admission to this athletic event entitles you to enjoy an exhibition of skills developed by the student athletes. Please give these athletes your encouragement, support. Efforts to applaud the talents of all participants is greatly appreciated. Booing, taunting, or intimidating the officials, coaches, or athletes is unacceptable and unsportsmanlike. This time, I'd like to honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of This time I'd like to introduce the starting lineup first for the visitors, the Newcastle Trojans. Starting at one guard, 6'4" senior, 3, Luke Bolo. Left guard, 5'10" senior, 5, Dan Burris. Third guard position, 5'11" senior, 10, Mason Hardwick. Left forward, 6'2" senior, 24, Nicholas Gleason. Left middle forward, 6'5" sophomore, 33, Brandon Matthews. Trojans are coached by Dave House and his assistants, Steve Sweet, Steve Lewis, Dave Allen, Corey Criswell, Todd York, and Chase Cody. And now, with the starting lineup, for your Mississinewa, India. Starting at one guard, 6'2" sophomore, number 22, Landon Swanner. And another guard, 6' junior, number 24, Anthony Horton. Third guard position, 5'9" senior, number 33, Heisman Ski. Now one forward, 6'2" senior, number 12, Larry Dean. At the other forward, 6'3" sophomore, number 21, Kay McClung. Coached by James Reed with his assistants, Brandon Swanner and Adam Steve. Officials for the next game, Ryan Fisher, Edward Fleming, and Jared Bennett.
Once again, good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to Freedomburg Court Mississinewa High School. As we get the varsity contest underway, again, I'm Ryan Scott. Alongside with me is MCS Media Director, Mr. Brooks Holloway. We'll have the call of the game for you tonight. Isaac French and Tay McClung will tip it up for both teams.
Well, I'm pretty excited to watch another Luke play here. Should be I don't know what's going around with the name Luke in this generation, but this is the second one we've seen that should be a pretty good treat for us.
And as we say that, the tip is up and went out of bounds off the hand of Landon Swanner, and it'll go to Newcastle. Newcastle will have their first possession of tonight. Well, bomb below. Newcastle will work it around the arc. A quick inside pass, they'll move it around, shot up, no good, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Anthony Horton will be at the point guard position. A step back, dishes it to Landon Swanner. Swanner goes back to Anthony Horton. Horton will send Landon Swanner in motion. Swanner bounce pass to Heisman Skeens. Skeens goes to McClung at the top of the key. Dean, Horton. Horton two-point jumper at the free throw line and knocks it down. Anthony Horton, first 2 points of tonight's game. Bombolo will be the point guard for Newcastle. A quick three by Newcastle is good. Day McClung to Anthony Horton to Heisman Skeens. Skeens will work it back to McClung, go to Swanner. Swanner, McClung. Skeens in the corner for three, and he connects. Heisman Skeens for three. The Indians 5-3 over the Trojans early. Newcastle have possession, 6:13 left to play in the first quarter. Bombolo will pull the NBA three, and it's no good, and it'll be a rebound, Mississinewa. Heisman Skeens will go sideline. He will go to Larry Dean. Dean goes to McClung. McClung, shot up, volleyball line, rolls in and out, gets his own rebound, shot up again, and he puts it up and in.
Seems that Newcastle is setting up Luke on the right-hand side every single time, or he's going to that side and looking to come back left. Early pattern here, that might be something that they talk about at the end of the first quarter and recognizing that. Just keep him over there on that side, and because he's not hurting him so far yet in the game.
Yeah, like you said, you have not seen him on the left side at all. Newcastle drives inside, shot up, no good. It's tipped from Mississinewa. They'll have their own rebound. Burris drives inside, floater from the volleyball line, and it's good.
He's pretty smooth. He's got a really smooth finish. That three earlier was a nice-looking shot, too.
Spin move by Anthony Horton, shot up is no good, and it'll go back to Newcastle. Newcastle shot up, no, and there'll be a foul, and it looks like it'll be a foul on number 12, Larry Dean.
Good spin from the block.
Dean's first, team's first. Brandon Matney will be at the line for 2 shots. We talked about him a little bit in the pregame show. The first one is good by Matney. The second one is up and no good. Larry Dean will bring down the board. Swanner, Dean to McClung, and it's an Indian turnover. Bomb low. We'll get double teamed. Too hard of a pass will go out of bounds on Newcastle, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Anthony Horton will take it from the sideline. He will go to Landon Swanner.
This matchup so far resembles that of the Blackford one. I think Mississinewa can really take some advantage on the inside, going inside out, get their shooters a good squared up look. Really resembles the Blackford team, or the Blackford matchup.
especially when you have another Luke on the floor.
Yeah.
Bombolo will pull the 3, and it's off the mark. Heisman Skeens will go to Landon Swanner, and a hard pass. Swanner takes care of it. Nice court awareness by the Indians, seeing Landon Swanner down court.
Horton again drawing a tough assignment defensively. He did good against Blackford's Brown in that first big matchup. And he's got the same assignment here. He's not even sagging off on help side. He's sticking right with him.
Anthony Horton goes sideline spin move, kicks it out to Heisman Skeens, and it looks like there'll be a charge. It will be a charge against Anthony Horton. Colin Yoder will check in for Mississinewa.
Reed used Campbell as in that rotation, defending Luke Brown earlier, and you could probably guess another foul here from Horton, and you're going to see Campbell come off the bench to pick up that slack and really face guard Bumbalo.
Newcastle has a wide open lane, and it goes from behind the back. Landon Swanner will go to Colin Yoder, and Yoder will regain. Yoder kicks it out to Anthony Horton. Horton to Tay McClung, goes to Landon Swanner. Swanner will work it around, go back to Anthony Horton. Horton 2-point jumper, corner of the volleyball line, and it's no good. Newcastle again finds a wide open lane, and they put it down and good.
It's 2 straight trips for him.
Anthony Horton will go to Colin Yoder. Yoder will go back to Landon Swanner, go to Skeens inside to McClung. McClung's getting fouled, and there's a jump ball. It'll be a jump ball in. It'll go to Mississinewa.
Reed's going to have to analyze that matchup with Swanner guarding Greaser on that. If they keep going to him or finding him open, Landon's going to have to pick it up here defensively because right now Greaser is having his way around that low post and that right side of the lane.
Yoder, Dean, Swanner. Swanner to Dean. Dean drives inside, kicks it out to Anthony Horton. Horton will go to Swanner. Swanner will pull the 3, and it's no good. Ball will be loose. It'll be off of Mississinewa, and it'll go to the Trojans. Heisman Skeens returns for Mississinewa.
And there's the third wheel in that rotation that they used at Blackford with Heisman coming in for Horton.
One minute and 36 seconds to play in the first quarter. Indians trail 9-12.
Dean now drawing the assignment, lost him.
Again, Newcastle finds a not wide open lane, and they take care of it. They use it to their advantage. Swanner
got up in the air,
and it's an Indian turnover. Newcastle for 3, and it's good.
Timeout here. Yep.
And it's a timeout, Coach Reed, and Coach Reed is not happy. We'll be back in 30. This 30-second timeout is brought to you by Sophie's Ice Cream. We'll be back in 30. Welcome back to Gas City as we continue with the first quarter. Indians trail 9-17. Anthony Horton will bring it to their side.
Campbell came in there on that break, I believe for Swanner.
Heisman schemes will go to Cade Campbell, will go to Colin Yoder. Yoder will pull the three, and it's no good.
They're going to get Dean there on the hold. That's his second.
Dave McClung will check in as well as Landon Swanner. Newcastle works it around early. Bombolo will pull the NBA three, no good, out close to being out of bounds. Landon Swanner will recover. Swanner pumps the three. 28 seconds, Indians will try to hold for one. And as they say that, that's an Indian turnover, shot up, good. 13 seconds to play in the first quarter. Anthony Horton will be the ball handler. Swanner, three, tip.
Hit on the hand, nope. I thought maybe he got hit there on the hand there on that final shot. He just readjusted.
At the end of the first quarter on the State Farm Dennis Road scoreboard, Indians 9, Trojans 19. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout. Welcome back to Freedomburg Court as we start the second quarter. Newcastle will have possession.
There's been a lot of good perimeter action from Newcastle across their guard line here. I would expect that continue, run a little bit more time off the clock.
Newcastle will go for the corner three, and it's no good. Anthony Horton will go sideline. Horton will go to Heisman. Skeens goes to Landon Swanner.
Mississinewa still spreading the floor.
Swanner inside, kicks it out to Heisman. Skeens for three, no good. And it'll be out of bounds on Cade Campbell, and it'll go to Newcastle. Bombolo will march to their side, crosses the timeline. Inside, shot up, no good. Shot up again by Newcastle's no good. Heisman Skeens will go to his cousin. Go back to Heisman, Landon in the corner. Swanner inside, Tay McClung. McClung puts it up, good.
That's four now for McClung.
Newcastle inside, they pressure it, no good. Landon Swanner will bring down the board. And there will be a foul. Fouls on Trojan number 4, Cole McDaniel, his first. And it will be the team's first. Colin Yoder checks in for Mississinewa. Swanner to Anthony Horton at the top of the key. Horton, Yoder passes it off to Tay McClung. McClung tries to go up strong, no good, and it'll stay with the Indians. McClung, Yoder in the corner for 3, and it is good. Nice ball movement for the Indians. 2-point jumper by Bumbleau is no good. Landon Swanner will bring down the board. Anthony Horton to Landon Swanner. Swanner inside Tay McClung. CIC kicks it out to Heisman Skeens. Yoder again in the corner for 3, and it is good. Once again, nice ball movement from Mississinewa. 2-point ball game. Two-point jumper by Newcastle, and it's good. Horton Skeens to McClung. McClung goes back to Skeens. Anthony Horton. Swanner goes back to Anthony Horton, goes back to Skeens. Skeens goes back to Swanner. Goes over to Colin Yoder. Horton cross court to Heisman Skeens. 2-point jumper for Anthony Horton is way off the mark. Bombolo, 3 underway, and it is nothing but the nylon. The Indians have to stop Bombolo no matter where he's at. Swanner, Anthony Horton. Horton will go to Yoder, go to Skeens. Skeens will go cross court to Landon Swanner. Swanner, jumper, and it's good.
Dean and Horton now have 2 for the Indians.
Newcastle will take it out of bounds from the sideline on their half of the court. Bombolo inside, he uses the left side this time, and it is no good. Out of bounds on Newcastle, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Heisman Skeens will cross the timeline. Go to Tay McClung. McClung will go back to Swanner. Swanner will launch the 3, and it is good. And there will be an official's timeout. Newcastle taking out the floor, 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play before halftime. Bombalo will pull the 3, and it's no good. Landon Swanner. And there will be a foul on Bombalo.
Fouls on Trojan number 3, Luke Buffalo, his first and second.
Skeens to Landon Swanner. Yoder to Campbell. Campbell to Heisman Skeens. Skeens inside, jumper up, no. And there will be a foul.
Fouls on Trojan number 33, Brandon Matney, his first.
Fouls on Trojan number 33, Brandon Matney, his first. Tay McClung will be at the line for 2 shots. The first one is no good.
Nicholas Reeser returns the lineup for Newcastle.
And the second one is no good. 0 for 2 at the line. Newcastle inside, and it's a swap by Colin Yoder. And it'll go to Mississinewa. Skeens inside to Tay McClung, and there'll be a foul, and it's no shot.
Fouls on Trojan number 33, Brandon Matney, his second. Team fourth, William Reeser. Takes the lineup for Newcastle.
Landon Swanner will take it out of bounds underneath the bucket. And there will be a 30-second timeout. Mississinewa. This 30-second timeout is brought to you by Twin City Auto Body, 1427 East Main Street in Gas City. We'll be back in 30.
With cell phone was turned in here to scores games, please. Cell phone. And see.
Welcome back to Freeburg Court as we continue with the second quarter. 1:40 to play before halftime. Indians trail by 2. Landon Swanner will take it out of bounds from the bucket. Tay McClung goes up strong, no good, and there's a foul.
Fouls on Trojan number 24, Nicholas Reeser. His
Tay
first.
McClung will be at the line for 2 shots.
Tay McClung launching 2.
First one is no good. Second one is good. 23-24, 1:32 left to play before halftime. Newcastle will have possession. Bombalo will pull the 3, and it's good.
3-point basket, Luke Buffalo.
Skeens to Landon Swanner. Swanner will go to Yoder. Skeens to Campbell, tries to go inside to Tay McClung. It rolls out of bounds, and it will go to Newcastle.
I think Mississinewa's got to be pretty happy here going into the half this close. Bumbleo's had a very quiet 10 points here this half. Very quiet performance, and they dodged some early runs there, some really hot shooting. Here he is again. I'm going to have to bite my tongue if he's going to fire up a couple more threes before the half, but we had a run there towards the middle of the second quarter where Colin Yoder hit a couple threes and got us back into it, but I think we get a last shot here of keep them away from the bucket, keep them away from another possession, and go in here within striking distance, get back into this. It's going to be a charge there on Campbell. Now we're probably going to have to play defense here to end the half, and that's not really how you want to have to end the half. But I think we're pretty lucky to be this close, especially when they jumped out 19-9 there. Get a good stop here and go into the half playing good defense. Isolation here. He's going to take a three to end the half.
At the halftime break on the State Farm Dennis Road scoreboard, Indians 23, Trojans 30. We'll be back after this halftime break. This is Mississinewa Indians basketball on the Tribe Sports Network. Welcome back to Gas City as we start the second half. Indians will have possession. Landon Swanner will take it from the sideline. He will go to Anthony Horton. Horton will go to Tay McClung to Landon Swanner. Swanner will go back to Heisman Skeens. Inside pass. Now McClung kicks it out to Heisman Skeens. Skeens will go to Landon Swanner. Swanner will move it around. Anthony Horton. Horton will go to Heisman Skeens, and there will be a foul. Anthony Horton will go to Larry Dean, goes to Landon Swanner. Swanner will go to Horton, inside pass to McClung. He goes up, no, but there's a foul.
I apologize for my tardiness. Ryan Scott was supposed to be keeping me updated on how much time I had to get back from the studio. He's also supposed to be keeping my stats. I hope he gave you guys an update. Did you?
Huh?
Did you give him a scoring update?
Ryan Scott might have forgot.
Are you serious? You forgot?
Well, I might have.
It's not that bad. We're pretty balanced here across Mississinewa's line there in the first half. 7 points was our leading score, and that was Landon. Bumbleau had a quiet start there to the game, but he came on strong there at the end, finished the half with 13 points. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. If somebody would have gave me a little bit better heads up, would have been back here on time.
I think that was our graphic designer, Seth Gashon. I think that was his job.
We can blame him.
Yeah. Well, the way that you came up here looks like you're running from the studio.
Me?
Yeah.
Nope. Had to get my pre-workout in.
Oh, goodness. Newcastle will be at the line. The second one is good. Anthony Horn goes to Landon. Swanner goes to Larry Dean. Skeens goes to Landon Swanner. Horn, nice pass inside to Larry Dean. Dean goes up, no good. And it'll go to Newcastle. Newcastle in the corner for 3, and it's good.
He's been very effective, that Hardwick. I've been pretty impressed with him. He's been quiet, but he's been very consistent on both ends.
Landon Swanner for 3, and it's no good. And there will be a foul on Larry Dean. Landon Swanner will take it out of bounds from the bucket. Skeens goes to Anthony Horton. Horton spin move. Shot up, good.
I'd like to see McClung get some more touches. He did a nice job there early on the play when Swanner came off that seal down low on the out-of-bounds play, and McClung was wide open there just above the block.
And there will be a foul. And let's see who it is on.
If I'm a shooter like that, I'm definitely looking down into my big guy. because I want that catch coming from the low post. I want that catch coming straight from the inside.
So apparently there was a foul on Mississinewa. And Coach Reed was confused on who and how that happened. Whether or not Newcastle will have possession, they go up. There'll be a foul. And Tay McClung says, well, I had my hand straight up. One and only is good. Anthony Horton drives inside, takes it by himself, shot up good. And so Anthony Horton will head to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play. Larry Dean checks in for Mississinewa, and there's a 30-second timeout, Newcastle. This 30-second timeout is brought to you by Mike Anderson, 119 East Main Street in Gas City. We'll be back in 30. This is Mississinewa Indians basketball on the Tribes.
I think Anthony Horton, he had a great finish there. I thought he was going to go to his left hand there,
Yep.
but keeping that in his right drew the foul.
Landon Swanner heads to the scores table for Mississinewa. A great,
Horton there, strip, good.
a nice rip by Anthony Horton, and he misses the layup.
Taking Chloe's foul on the play. Trojan number 40, Colin Lessinger is second. Team 6. If you're missing a cell phone, see me at the scorer's table. I've had one turned in here. 11. Colliota is third. In seventh, Buffalo marches one. Larry Dean turns the line up for the Indians.
Heading into the fourth quarter here, Bumbalo crept up into the 20-point range. He's got 23, but number 10, Mason Hardwick, has 17 now. So either one of those are our targets here for this fourth quarter to shut down.
Newcastle will have possession for this final quarter, the first possession of this quarter.
A lot of movement here from Newcastle, running some time off the clock. Almost poked away by Swanner.
Newcastle for three from the corner, no good. Tay McClung will bring down the board.
Good
Anthony
drive.
Horn will take it by himself.
Oh. Oh.
And it's a no shot.
They're going to talk about it, but I think they're going to call that one off.
Yeah, it's no shot.
I think that was going to fall anyways. Looked like he was leaning on the bounce. We've had trouble with free throws before this year, I remember.
Yeah.
It can really hurt you, especially when you're spanning a 10-point lead here going in the fourth. The clock has stopped. These are important buckets. Pressure now being extended from Mississinewa. Good D there by Horton.
Three underway, Hardwick, good.
And that's his 6th-3 of the evening.
Like you said, he's been quiet, but he's been on.
Hey, before we get into crunch time here, I really want to appreciate the guys that came out tonight and have been consistent here for Tribe TV, helping you guys get these nice streams. Got our scoreboard back up and running, troubleshot that, so we're up and running with our live scoreboard tech. Ryan Scott and Riley Fuquay, there's Bumbalo with a nice drive to the bucket. Ryan Scott and Riley Fuquay did a nice job this evening. Riley's wandering around the gym here. Taking photography, doing student photography, so he's going to join us next year, I believe. Isaac Scott has been working the camera and our Facebook secondary stream. If you didn't notice, we were running a live stream, just kind of testing our network and stretching our legs with what we can do. So he's been handling that tonight, and then I suppose we'll mention Seth over here. He thinks he's as good as me on the scoreboard, but since we fixed it to be automatic, he really can't. He does a nice job with the replay, and we got the video boards going here, so he does a great job. But Ryan and Seth at both, they're kind of my Tribe sports coordinators, and they do a fantastic job. Most of the events you see, especially the sports events, are coordinated by those guys.
Yeah, after the video boards had a couple seizures tonight, we got it back up and running.
Yep. I'm blaming Seth.
A few glitches, and they're up and going again. Dean will go to land in Swanner. Swanner will pull the three at the top of the key, and it's no good. Ball will be loose, and it'll be a timeout.
Important here, I think, when we got to this situation a couple times this season where we were facing some big deficits, we got a little trigger happy. You still got some time to get some quality looks at the basket. We don't want to be trigger happy, especially from deep beyond the three. Get a good, nice square shot. I think going inside again, at least until you see that 3-minute, 2-minute mark. Keep going inside, because Tay has done a nice job being more and more aggressive as the game has went on, and I think that's what he needed to do earlier. But feed him and let him attack, especially if he's going to start hitting his free throws here. Be consistent.
Yep. 5:19 left to play in regulation. Indians trail 47-62.
This Newcastle team is, I think, a much better quality team than the Blackford side, even though they kind of have some similarities. The guard play from the Trojans has been pretty impressive. they had a couple guys jump start their offenses. Bumbalo didn't get off to the start that we had expected right out of the gun, but 2 guys and 20 points, one of them being Luke. But, yeah, number 10 has been pretty impressive tonight for the Trojans.
And, well, there is a foul, and Coach Reed is confused.
I like the aggressive defense, though, from the Indians.
For sure.
Yep. Skeens, yeah, with Skeens only having 2, he can definitely afford this, especially if we can expose some weak free throw shooters early on in the 4th here.
This is both teams' last game of the regular season, and both teams are gearing up for sectional play. Am I wrong?
I think Newcastle might play Muncie Central.
Do they?
If I saw that right.
Yep, Muncie Central, you're right, yep.
What is that, Friday?
Yep, the 22nd. They will play Muncie Central before their sectional game. It is Mississinewa's last game before sectional play.
That's a pretty big game for Newcastle going into Central. That's a 4A, and Central, I believe, has a pretty tough sectional.
They do.
This is a pretty good test for Mississinewa as well, just to kind of gauge, because you're going to see a lot of the same competition up at the Belmont sectional. Here comes the extended pressure from Mississinewa. Again, don't rush.
Yep. Coach Reed was asking for a foul about a minute and a half ago, and he finally gets one.
Number 10, Mason Hardwick is second. Team 10th, Tatum Plum will be in line shooting 2. Newcastle, from Mississinewa.
That's going to be 4 on Yoder.
Yeah, that's what the Indians do not need. 4 minutes and 21 seconds to play in regulation.
Both teams now will be shooting 2 the rest of the way.
Yep.
I was coming in today from the gym and saw the track and field athletes preparing. They've got some indoor meets coming up before their season launches.
Second, right?
At Indiana Weston, I believe so, yes. Want to wish them a good luck.
Yeah, I'd like to wish all spring athletes the best of luck. It is getting crunch time for all of them. Most tryouts, if not all, are on March 11th.
I know Brennan Butchie had a good run in one of the state races, I believe. I saw come across Twitter. He had a good run this past month. And Carly Phones, one of my former students, she had a good showing at an indoor event in the 400. And I believe I saw a post from her dad running the 60.
Yes, I
think
remember.
That's right. So working on her sprint. She's a tremendous athlete.
And if you are a Mississinewa student or faculty member that is listening tonight, you will start seeing spring schedules made up by both Mr. Brooks Holloway and Seth Gashonik posted around the school here soon. Some great design by both of them.
I let Seth do most of the work on those. I may have had my hand in the baseball one. That's just because I was playing around. I let you guys do most of that. You guys are doing a much better job with the graphic design stuff.
Larry Dean will head to the line. First one is good. Second one is good.
That was a dangerous pass. I actually couldn't believe he threw that, especially across the backboard like that. Mississinewa still pressing. Timeout Newcastle.
And it'll be a 30-second timeout. Newcastle will be back after this 30-second timeout.
If you've noticed on our stream tonight, we've had some really good graphics designed by our students in the TribeTV program. Pretty cool. Always looking for some new cool things to share with everyone.
Newcastle will have possession, 3:15 left to play in the fourth quarter.
Oh my.
Again, an exciting Tuesday, it'll be a long Tuesday for TribeTV as we take the long drive to Belmont High School for sectional 23.
And we have the opening game too for that sectional. So
at least it's an early game.
Yep.
Landon Swanner from downtown, and it's no good.
And that's 4 on a key player there. Dan Cox, the coach for Newcastle, had to have been a little upset with him on that for crossing the timeline right into the trap. Horton there a little late. That'll be 4 on him. Reed's going to call a timeout here.
Full timeout, Mississinewa.
Full timeout, Mississinewa. This timeout is brought to you by Turning Over a New Leaf Flowers and Gifts, 313 West Main Street in Gas City. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout.
play first with the line.
Anthony Horton will be the ball handler. Horton will go to Yoder. Yoder will pull the three, and it's no good.
Fouls on team number 12, Larry Dean, his fourth. Blake Burst with the line, shooting a two-shot bonus. Trojan four, Cole McDaniel is second. Anthony Horton in line, shooting two-shot bonus.
I think we're getting close to the point here where this game is pretty much wrapped up. Trojans holding a 17-point lead with about 2 minutes left. The Indians now will look to the Norwell Knights, and we'll bring you some information here after the game as we tally the unofficial scoring for both teams. And then we'll have to wait a week, take a deep breath, and we'll have to regroup. And get back after it and show up for the section on the road up at Decatur. Maybe stop up at the back 40.
Yes.
We'll have to stop at the back 40 for some good food.
Either Thursday or Friday, we will make the announcement on the stream start for the first game.
Oh, I thought maybe you're going to announce if we are indeed going to stop at the back 40.
Well, I'm always down for food, so.
That's 5 on Yoder, I believe. Yep.
Yep.
That was a baby number 11. Calling Yoder is fifth.
Larry Dean returns for Mississinewa. Anthony Horton will pull the 3, no, and will go to Newcastle. Shot up, good. Larry Dean puts it up, good. A minute 24 to play in Gas City.
Mississinewa still extending the pressure. Minute left now.
That was on Indian number 3 between Campbell, this second.
Anthony Horton will roll to Landon Swanner. Swanner will take it up the floor. Landon Swanner chucks up a three, no good.
Jump ball, possession Mississinewa.
Jump ball, and it'll go to Mississinewa. Landon Swanner will pull the three, and it's good.
Landon Swanner for three.
.30 seconds to play in regulation. Landon Swanner will pull a three, and it's good.
Landon Swanner for three. Fouls on number 22, Landon Swanner, his first. Jackson Clapp, mid-line, shooting two. Devin Field, here's the lineup for Newcastle.
Eight seconds to play. On the State Farm Made It Nash Road scoreboard, the final from Gas City, Indians 62, Trojans 76.
62.
I think my partner Ryan Scott here bailed on me, so I'm going to call him out and make horrible fun of him in his second year. So we're going to have to cut him after only 2 years for him being lazy. He's totally spacing out back here. But live from Mississinewa High School here at Friedenberger Court, tough one for the Indians. Kind of a big loss here, but it was a very good team. Newcastle's a very quality side, if I'm going to start speaking soccer lingo. They're a good team. It was a good test to wind down the season, heading up into a tough sectional. Launching on next Tuesday at Belmont. We'll play the Norwell Knights unofficially, and I stress this unofficially because I lost track here at times, managing the TribeTV desk up here and a couple things happening. So unofficially, the scoring for tonight, the leaders for Mississinewa, Ty McClung had 16, Landon Swanner 13, Anthony Horton 12. I believe I missed a 3 there for Swanner. So don't hold me to this, but just kind of give you an idea of where we were. Colin Yoder finished with 6 as he fouled out there. Heisman Skeens had 6. For the Newcastle Trojans, Luke Bumbleau was 2 points under his average. He scored 29 unofficially.
Impressive.
Yeah, very quiet 29. You just didn't really see it, but he got the job done. He was just consistency alongside his scoring partner there, Mason Hardwick. And I didn't really go deep into the Newcastle stats to see if he was this good from deep, but he had number 10 there. Hardwick had 6 threes and finished with 22 points. Blake Burris then had 10, and Nicholas, I believe it was Greaser, he finished with 9 to lead the Trojans. Again, that's unofficially, because I'm sure I missed a point here, multitasking and whatnot, and fielding emails and checking posts. But very good test at the end, going up to Belmont next Tuesday. We're going to start that stream, let's say 5:45.
Hey, you're already calling it early. I like it. I like it.
We'll start. We'll get up there. We'll set up everything, and we'll make sure that we're launching this stream at least 15 minutes early for everybody. If you can't make the trip, we need you up there, though, because this is going to be a tough one. This would be a tough one to start the tournament. Ryan, do you have anything, looking at your sectional bracket there, any big opponents or your favorites that come out of there, besides, of course, Mississinewa, because we're always rooting for us to come out of there, but what do you see, especially in that second round, if we do, or when we do, beat Norwell?
Yeah, I say if we beat Norwell, of course, we will meet Marion in Game 3, and I'm going to say in Game 2, Fort Wayne, Bishop Lures, and Heritage. Heritage will not come out of that bracket. I think Lures will beat Heritage. So it'll be Fort Wayne, Bishop Lures, and Belmont playing in Game 4, and Mississinewa and Marion in Game 3. And it's too early to tell who will make it out to the championship round.
Yeah, I think we can battle back. I think we can play a lot better than we did in the regular season against Marion. I think we again started pulling the trigger. That's always a big kind of rivalry game where emotions can kind of get out of hand, especially when you're playing at Friedenberger Court or in Marion. But on a neutral court, anything can happen. As you saw last year, that was a great game there in the sectional between Mississinewa and Marion. So they've met several times here. Right. We'll see on Tuesday if we can get another matchup this year.
And I tell you what, Newcastle played well tonight, but, I would like to see Blackford and Newcastle play.
Yeah, I would too. I would think that would be a great matchup between the Lukes. But you got to look at that Game 2, because I believe the winner of that game against Blackford is going to come out of Game 2, and that will probably be Delta, as they're a very good team. So I'm looking for Newcastle, or whoever comes away from that Newcastle, probably Hamilton Heights matchup, to face Delta in that championship there. So I'm pretty excited to head up to Belmont. It's always fun doing road games.
Oh, it's fun, and especially if we get to stop and have a bite to eat and just have a good time streaming basketball for Mississinewa.
Yep, we'll see where we stop there. That back 40 may be a little out of my price budget right now unless I get this tax return coming back. But, hey, again, I want to thank our Tribe TV crew. We're almost done with our winter season. We're on season 2 of our Tribe Sports Daily Show.
That's crazy.
We're on, like, season 4, I believe, of officially being Tribe TV and full go. So through a winter season of the 18-19 school year, we've got the spring sports left. Ton of baseball.
Yes.
Anything you're excited to see?
For what?
Well, for us, I mean, we're not going to give away our special secret, but
yeah,
we got a new baseball softball scoreboard graphic to share with everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You'll see hopefully a lot more videos of action for spring sports, and it's hard not to say our secret, our new piece of equipment that we will be getting. It's hard not to say, but I think our fans and viewers will love it.
Yep. So good luck to everybody as we open up the spring season here, and best of luck to our boys basketball players next week. Again, our track and field is the first to fire up with their indoor meets. And then right before spring break, everybody else jumps in on the action. A lot of training going on right now. Pretty fun time. I enjoy baseball season.
Oh, yeah.
Go Yankees, right?
No. I knew you were going to say that.
I think Mike Scott might agree with me on the Go Yankees.
No, I think I think he'll limit a baseball hat to you this year if you say that to him.
But hey, if I give him a Go Cubs or I don't know, some type of Cubs fight song, whatever they do up there.
Oh yeah, if we play Go Cubs Go over the speaker,
I'll do anything to earn that hat, especially if it's one of those red, white, and blue ones. We'll have to get a press box camera.
Yes.
Give you guys some advertising up there.
Yeah, especially
like we did at the sectional.
Yeah, especially at Belmont, you might see an announcer cam. Mr. Brooks Holloway and I will be repping our baseball hat and some baseball gears. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in to tonight's game. From the rest of the Tribe TV crew members, thank you for tuning in and have a pleasant evening.